Well, my fear factor with the Bowling Green team was the fact that they were a superior passing team. They do a great job of sharing the basketball, and we wanted to try to go man in that second half, and they really cut us up. I thought we did a decent job in our zone defense the first half, but when we went to man, they just chopped us up. But we've got to figure out a way to understand who we are. I think that we put so much pressure on our defense to just get stops all the time because we're just having a hard time scoring the basketball and shooting the ball. So, I told our guys it's like we got to be the Alabama defense on football because we just don't score the basketball in the offensive end. But they understand where their bread is buttered, and so what they do is they give the ball to Derrick Henry 46 times and 44 times because they know their defense is that good. So we've got to understand that fact, and I just don't think we understand that yet.
Shooting the ball offensively, is it just a confidence factor with these guys right now, or what are you seeing on the offensive end?
Well, I don't think it's a confidence factor. I just think we had the inability to shoot the basketball. If you was to ask me who's the one guy on our team that I feel confident that can make shots, it'd be Isaiah Jones at this point in time. And he's struggling to shoot the basketball. And part of that is the fact that he feels like every time he's open that he's got to make it because other guys aren't making it. So there's a lot of pressure when you're at the free throw line, when you're at the three-point line, because we all know that we're not shooting the basketball. Now, I do think we can shoot better than this, but the fact remains right now, if you look at the history of our team now, we played 7 or 8 games, we're just not a good shooting team.
You talked about the zone that you played in the first half, something that you had some success with against Memphis. Just talk about the decision to go back to that again this game, why you made that decision and kind of to stick with that.
Well, I trusted my players, and they said they wanted to try to play man defense. And my concern was playing a man against them was the fact that they spread you out so much with their ability to pass the basketball that we were really going to get chopped up if we made one mistake in our man defense. So, but I wanted to give our guys ownership of our team. I think that's really important. But we just weren't successful in that man defense. And, not to put this on our players, we didn't practice man very much against this team. So, it's hard to have success against somebody you haven't practiced against man. So I thought that was the biggest reason.
You struggled rebounding in the first half. Obviously, we're a little bit better in the second half with that, certainly with the switch back to the man. I guess at that point, the decision to go back to man and then go back to the zone, what are you looking for at that point in the game?
Well, I think the rebound is a little skewed because of the fact they shot 65% from the field. There wasn't a lot of opportunity for defensive rebounds. And if you look at the fact we got 19 offensive rebounds, but when we get those offensive rebounds, we can't finish at the rim. I think our inability to finish at the rim is really a huge problem because I think we're getting some opportunities. We just got to finish those. So I don't think that has much to do with whether we're in man or our zone.
What's your message to the team after a game like this?
Well, we got to figure out a way to compete, and a way for us to compete is to be really good on the defensive end and be sound on the offensive end. I thought we did a pretty decent job against Memphis of kind of knowing who we are, but I think when we get outside of ourselves, and there's nothing wrong with admitting the fact that we're not a good shooting team. There's nothing wrong with admitting the fact that we don't do a great job of finishing at the rim. But what the problem is, if you don't accept those facts and you keep trying to do things that we're not accustomed to doing or we're not successful doing, then it leads to bad things. So I just think we got to understand kind of where we are right now. And hey, keep fighting, it'll get better, keep shooting. But at this point in time, this is a fact of who we are, and we got to make sure we accept that if we're going to be successful.
Did you feel like your guys were a little sluggish at all tonight? Or?
I don't think they were sluggish. I mean, we didn't do anything at all. When did we play Memphis? Saturday? Yeah, Saturday. We didn't do anything Sunday. We all got ice baths. We did nothing but shoot free throws. So I don't think we can attribute it to that.
You talk about finding out who you are, accepting who you are. Defensively, playing a number of different schemes. I guess How do you figure out who you guys are defensively? Where do you see this team's identity falling defensively?
Well, it's us accepting the fact that we got to be a really good defensive team and we can't rely on our offense. I don't think it matters what defensive we play. It's all about us understanding that, like, we've got to be good defensively, and we got to understand that just because we're not having success on the offensive end, it can't affect our defense. And like I've said this before, like football, they've got it easy. They put all the crazy deranged guys on defense and let them fly around, and then it's fine. And then they put the calm, cool, collected guys on offense. But in basketball, you got to be able to switch triggers, in 3 seconds, going from offense to defense. So we got to understand that, like, we've got to continue to be really grind in on the defensive end, and hey, on the offensive end, it's going to be a chore. But we can't let us not being successful on the offensive end affect our way we approach our defense.
Solid.
Thanks.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.